Everyone, I'm excited to introduce you to John and Zawadi Samvura. They're two of our leaders in Congo. They are two of the most beautiful and most brilliant human beings I've ever met. It's an honor to introduce them to you today. Okay, let's jump right in. John, it can be really hard for us Americans to wrap our minds around what it's like for children in war, what it's like for children to be abducted or enslaved, children that are orphaned by war. Can you help us wrap our minds around that?
When you look at this region where there's so many militia groups, children have been thoroughly used in the wars. They are abducted. There's this thinking that children, once you give them a gun, once you torture them and you tell them what to do, they do it without thinking. And this has really affected so many children that were forced to carry a gun, forced to kill at an early age. And by the time they are either rescued or or somehow they escape, then they are traumatized to the level that it's unbelievable. A kid that have been, put into a situation of killing, shedding innocent blood. And this is not just one story. It's a story in many, many, many villages.
Sure, yeah. Yeah, so Zawadi's on our counseling team. Can you speak to the emotional impact of this trauma that the kids experience? And then maybe talk about how Exile's program helps bring them back to life again. I know you're on the front lines of all of that, so we'd love to hear from you.
As children, they are really affected emotionally. Kids love to play. And here, their childhood is stolen. They are forced to do things which are above their age and unwillingly. A child introduced to killing, shooting, violence, and the level of trauma is so high because they are seeing all these people being killed and they are the ones killing them. Sometimes killing people in their own villages, people they know. So automatically, once they come out of there, they are no longer the same kids who were abducted because they were forced to turn into small beasts. They don't reason for themselves. What they know is only violence. But thank God, with Exile programs, it's like they are being reborn because we bring them the aspect of love, compassion, trust, listening to them especially, because they have all these things running within their hearts. They can't share with anybody. No one is there to listen to them. They're only given orders when they're abducted and they have to follow them. They can't express their feelings. But when we receive them, we give them the opportunity to express themselves and helping them to understand that we are not blaming them. We are not judging them. We are accepting them the way they are. We have the trauma healing programs. Of course, we do the listening and the counseling. As I said, when they're still children, at 14, you have to take back the years lost. So we have the music therapy, which helps them to express and relax their bodies so they can re-experience their childhood.
Zawadi, I just want to say that picture you place in my mind of they're forced to be beasts. They're experiencing hell on earth and they're forced to be beasts. But yet also you shared the peace that they're experiencing through these programs where they're coming and they're reclaiming their childhood. They're healing and they're being redeemed.
Speak to the beauty that you see when the children in our program, both rescued child soldiers and children orphaned by war, when they take the model that they experienced healing from and they start using that to bring healing to other war-affected children, other rescued child soldiers, other children orphaned by war. Can you tell us about the dynamic or the beauty that you see from that?
Oh, yeah. The beauty is the change. When they're in the bush there, they just look like bushmen. And sometimes when they come, you look at them and like, ooh, okay, this is a hard piece we are going to deal with. But once they go through the healing, they go through all the programs, you see like it's a new person who has come out. the beauty and the humanity of a person comes out. Someone who can talk with, someone who can express their real emotions, someone who has dreams and is determined to get them. Like you see some kids coming, I don't want to go to school because they know what they did to school kids. Maybe he was abducted on the way from school and he just feel like school is a high risk for him. But with time, when they begin healing, they say, no, I want to go back to school and be a nurse and be a teacher as I've always wanted. And the kids striving day in, day out to be to what he really dreamed of being. That just gives you back joy. To see someone going to church, playing drums in church, receiving Christ, and kids like in our worship services, these kids can take their Bibles, preach the word of God, and be like, wow, this one is going far. You can see, like, even for the orphans, normally in the African setup, when you become an orphan, it's like your dreams are shattered. You just forget about dreaming. But now these are people, they just see, oh, there's a light somewhere. It just gives back joy.
Okay, John, one last question for you. Will you tell us a bit about the graduate-led replication model, the impact that it has on communities today, but also the impact that if God is truly in this, what's possible over the next 10, 20, or even 30 years?
You know, when you look at the graduates, and when, you know, both boys and girls, when they finish our program and they get the healing that they need, and they say, we want to go back to the communities. You know, it's a journey of, forgiving oneself and reconciliation with God, and also a journey to go and be reconciled with their communities, their villages, that they have really been a bad influence, where they've killed people, where they've, robbed people. So when that happens, first of all, that's a win for God, to see the communities reconcile. Say, this is not the person that you do. This is a new person. And then they begin to see that not only in words, but they see it in deeds, when he or she is living with them and is helping the others that are going through the same problems, because these militia and rebel groups are still being formed. And I believe that with these graduates going back and preaching peace and being ambassadors of peace is going to have an impact. You say 10, 20 years, I'll see villages that will be transformed. I'll see where instead of war, and that we're going to have peaceful villages. Instead of being robbers, instead of being in the bush killing people, instead of raping women, they will be helping the women, helping the country, their families, and of course, helping their country as well. You can see the signs of real transformation of men and women that are transformed for better. And I can't wait. And I can see what God is doing. And we are so thankful to be part of what God is doing for his glory and for his fame.
I love to think about going to the Village Peace Clubs and seeing the look on the kids in the Village Peace Club, the Peace and Healing Program, those kids who have been orphaned by war, those kids who were once child soldiers, and they're looking to this graduate who was once where they were.
Yeah.
And so they have a different influence on them, because the graduate can say, I was once where you were.
Mm-hmm.
And so that level of influence, no one can speak to it like that person can. Certainly we can't, and you guys can't. And so that's I think of it all.
That's beautiful.
You all, thank you so much for joining us via Zoom. We wish you could have been here in Nashville with us, which was the original plan. But maybe next year for Hope Wins, we'll have you here. You'll get to meet all the great guests that are here with us tonight. But until then, Mungu aku bariki. God bless you. Thank you so much for being with us tonight. We love you so much. I can't wait to be with you again real soon.
Thank you so much.
Asante.
In Nashville, we are coming.
Great. Come on.
All right.
Bye.